So you want to know what neighborhoods have the best potential to grow or hold their value for the future in Calgary? Well, here is what we know. Neighborhoods that have a lower price point than the city's benchmark, combined with on average over 50% of the sales being detached homes, they increased. Secondly, neighborhoods where the largest percentage of sales in the area were townhomes and also combined with a benchmark price lower than the city's for townhomes also increased. Lastly, neighborhoods where there is large infrastructure changes and or new amenities built nearby. So for example, the opening of the new portion of the ring road, transit changes that are planned or being implemented, those neighborhoods also increased. So what are these neighborhoods? We've got a long list of ones to share with you, but first, two things. All data has been pulled from Q2 of 2024, sometimes comparing it to Q2 of 2023. And not all quadrants are qualifying for our list. So if you don't see a quadrant or a neighborhood on here that you think that should be, put in the comments. We're gonna move fast, so if you have questions about the areas, you wanna find out more information about homes in those areas, you can connect with us right here, info@chamberlaingroup.ca, and let's get at it. Starting on the west side of the city, there are a handful of neighborhoods that we want you to know about. The first one is a community called Coach Hill. Now, 42% of the sales in Q2 were townhomes in Coach Hill. The benchmark price is actually lower for townhomes and the community overall compared to the city's benchmark. So $426,000 was the benchmark price for townhomes in Coach Hill compared to the city's benchmark of $460,000. And the community overall, its benchmark price was $530,000 compared to $604,000 for the total city. So this is one area that we could see some growth or it holding its value because of these factors. Now, the second neighborhood in the west zone is a community called Glenmorgan. Extremely established neighborhood, but 45% of the sales there in Q2 of 2024 were townhomes. The benchmark price was also lower for townhomes as well as compared to the whole city's benchmark. So $405,000 for the benchmark of townhomes in Glenmorgan compared to $460,000 for the city and $520,000 for the community compared to $604,000 for the total benchmark of the city compared to the community of Glenmorgan. Now, Glenmorgan, it has great access, it is a great location, and both of these neighborhoods are great communities that you should consider. Now, in the south zone, we have a handful of communities as well we want to share with you. Braeside is the first one. Now, Braeside has multiple things going for it, and the first one is 39% of the sales in Q2 of 2024 were townhomes. The benchmark price is also lower for townhomes compared to the city, as well as the whole communities compared to the city's benchmark. So $389,000 was the benchmark price for townhomes in Braeside compared to $460,000 for the city, and $477,000 was the benchmark price for the community compared to $604,000 for the city. Now, it's also located close to the new Stony Trail changes, creating improved access for residents of Braeside and the surrounding neighborhoods. So if you're looking down in the south and you're looking around Braeside, those other areas like Cedarbrae, Braeside, those also could be affected in a positive way because of the new ring road change. The second one down south is Deer Ridge. Now, 59% of the sales there were townhomes, which is the highest percentage on our list. And don't worry, we're not just focusing on townhome communities. There's gonna be other ones in the future here too. But the benchmark price here was also lower for townhomes compared to the city as well as the community's average. So $354,000 was the benchmark price for townhomes in Deer Ridge in Q2 of 2024, and $460,000 is the city's. So that's a really good gap. $511,000 is the community's benchmark price compared to the city's $604,000. It also has great access. It's not new, but it has great access getting out to Deerfoot and a lot of amenities down there as well. So last on our list for the South Zone is a community that is really established. It is a beautiful community, and it has 44% of the sales were townhomes. The benchmark price is lower for townhomes. However, it's actually slightly higher when you look at the whole community. So $340,000 was the benchmark price for townhomes compared to the city's $460,000. And for the whole community, it was $615,000 compared to the city's $604,000. So what's the reason for this? Well, the reason is the detached homes in this area are extremely established. Mature homes, mature neighborhoods, big lots, and are going for a benchmark price of $819,000 compared to the city's $760,000 benchmark price for detached homes. So the detached homes are really pulling up the community, and that alone, combined with a lot of townhomes that are available there for really good prices, if you're getting into the lower price properties in that neighborhood, you have the higher ones to give you a little bit of a buffer, and it too also has gained access to the new part of Stony Trail. So there's a lot of things going for Oak Ridge if that's where you're looking. So now let's jump down to the southeast part of the city, where we are finding more neighborhoods that are going to grow or hold their value in the future, potentially better than some others. And the first community in the southeast is Ogden. Now, I believe Ogden is one of the hidden gems in Calgary in terms of having a home that is future-proof because of large lots, the cost of homes, the area, the accessibility to the rest of the city. We could see some real gentrification happening in the coming years, and maybe 10, 15 years, but there could be some real big changes that happen there just because of all of these things. Now, 78% of the homes there were detached homes, and the benchmark price is lower for detached homes than the city. Ogden saw a benchmark price of $543,000 for a detached home compared to the city's $760,000 for Q2 of 2024. Now, next on our list in the southeast is a community that has been around for a long time, but it's still a newer one. New Brighton, down by Mackenzie Town, Copperfield, all of those areas, there's New Brighton. New Brighton had 35% of its sales being townhomes. The benchmark price is on par for townhomes compared to the city, which was $460 for New Brighton for townhomes, and it's $460 for the city. However, for detached homes here, this is why this is on the list. 53% of the sales were detached homes in Q2 of 2024, and they have a much lower benchmark price when compared to the city, which is $663,000 for the benchmark price for detached homes in New Brighton compared to $760,000 for the city. So those two things going for New Brighton could actually be a really great thing for holding a property long-term in that neighborhood. Now let's jump over to the east part of the city, and the first neighborhood we want to talk about is Forest Heights, where 38% of the sales were townhomes there. The benchmark price is much lower for townhomes compared to the cities, which was $274,000 for Forest Heights townhomes, which is the benchmark price, and it's $460 for the cities, which is a staggering, their $274 is a staggering 43% increase from Q2 2023. So what's different in Forest Heights compared to other neighborhoods on this list is the percentage of semi-detached homes here. 25% of the sales of this area were attached homes. There are plenty of duplex styles of properties here that you can purchase with a benchmark price of half a duplex going for around $400,000. So if you're looking for this type of price range, this might be one of the areas you want to consider. The second neighborhood in the East Quadrant is Southview. Now this is probably the only one that says 100. 100% of the sales here in Q2 of 2024 were detached homes. Now, this community made the list because of the large lots and the future potential here for future gentrification, and that the benchmark price for detached here was only $571,000 compared to the city's $760,000. So I want to give you a little bit of a bonus here. This community didn't make it for the list, but I do believe it has really good potential. The neighborhood I'm talking about is Albert Park or Radisson Heights. It is one of the first areas that I think will probably see changes in that southeast, northeast areas first because of its unbelievably close proximity to downtown. The right home on the right lot can have stunning downtown views. And as the city progresses, as we change, as we see more gentrification happening in our city, this is a neighborhood that we could see pop off first out of all of the other ones in the east, northeast, southeast areas. So let's jump up to the northeast, and the first community we want to talk about is Cityscape, where 36% of the sales in Q2 of 2024 were townhomes. The benchmark price is slightly lower for townhomes in the community overall compared to the city. So $457 compared to the city's $460 for benchmark prices for townhomes, and $603 compared to the city's $604 for the total community compared to the city. And Cityscape has really benefited from Airport Trail expansion recently, creating quicker access to this area as well. Now, the next neighborhood in Northeast is Marlborough Park, where 44% of the sales were townhomes. The benchmark price here is much lower for the townhomes, which is $329,000 compared to the city's $460,000. And the overall community, it's $483,000 benchmark price compared to the city's $604,000. Now, 56% of the sales here were detached and mainly have large lots, mature trees, and are nearly $200,000 less than the benchmark price for the city compared to Marlborough Park. So this is another neighborhood that could see some great growth as well as kind of hold its value in the future as well. So the last one on our list is Redstone, where 51% of the sales were townhomes. Now, its benchmark price was slightly lower than the city's at $443,000 compared to the city's $460,000 for townhomes for benchmark prices. And detached homes here made up 33% of the sales and are equal to the city's benchmark price of $760,000. Now, there's not any recent transportation changes here. However, Redstone does have fantastic access to Stony Trail North. It can get out to some of the malls. It can get around the city really, really great and quickly. So if that's what you're looking for, if this is something, price point, everything else, one of these neighborhoods in the Northeast might be great for you. Let's jump up to the north. Now, in the North Zone, one of the neighborhoods you want to watch out for is Carrington, where 39% of the sales there were townhomes. Now, the benchmark price was slightly lower compared to the city at $446,000 compared to city's $460,000 for townhomes. However, the overall benchmark price for Carrington is at $648,000 compared to the city's $604,000. Because of its newness, because of its location, townhomes here, I believe, have some growth room for sure. So if you're looking for a townhome in the North Zone of the city, you might want to check out Carrington. The next neighborhood we want to talk about is a little bit more established, and it's called Country Hills. This is where things change a bit in our list. These next areas focus more on detached homes versus the townhome flex that so many other of the neighborhoods have. So in Country Hills, 74% of the sales were detached homes, and the benchmark price is for detached is a little bit less than the city's at $596 compared to the city's $760,000. There are lots of townhomes options here too, but detached homes here have a lot of potential to hold their value and even grow in the coming years. The next neighborhood, I don't want you to confuse it with the one we just talked about. It's called Coventry Hills. We got Country Hills and Coventry Hills. Coventry Hills is a little bit north, but it had 91% of the sales were detached homes there. It has a wide range of starter homes to bigger homes, so you have a lot of different options in this neighborhood with really good amenities. The benchmark price for detached homes in Coventry Hills was $611,000 compared to the city's $760,000. Now, detached homes here have a lot of potential to hold their value and even grow in the coming years. Especially as the city expands and things are kind of growing, it's pretty established with a lot of amenities, a lot of access, and a lot of varieties of homes, and that's a lot ofs. Now, the last neighborhood we want to mention is McEwen Glen for the North Zone of the city. 85% of the sales here were detached homes. Now, the benchmark price was $630,000 for detached homes compared to the city's $760,000. Detached homes here have a lot of potential to hold their value and even grow in the coming years. It is an older neighborhood. You're going to find properties kind of in the 80s and 90s that were built, but the location of McEwen Glen is unbeat, as it many homes back onto Nose Hill Park, and you can literally just walk up the hill and you are there. So you might drive by it, not even know it's there, but it's one of those areas that you definitely should check out if you're looking for a detached home in a more established area in the north part of Calgary. So let's jump inner city, the city center zone. So in the city center zone, the first neighborhood I want to talk to you about is Ramsey. 94% of the sales here were detached homes, and this is the highest that we saw on this list. Benchmark prices here are $635,000 compared to the city's $760,000 for detached homes, and they have a lot of potential to hold their value and even grow in the coming years. Not just because of their cost and it's lower than the cities, but because of future changes that are probably going to be happening. The change that's going to boost Ramsey in the coming years is the Green Line, stopping right there and creating much needed connection to the rest of downtown as well as Inglewood. So watch for that, and if those are things that are important to you, then Ramsey might be an area you want to check out. Another neighborhood in the city center is Highwood, where 87% of the sales here were detached homes. The benchmark price was $704,000 compared to the city's $760,000, and detached homes here have a lot of potential to hold their value and grow in the coming years because of the redevelopment opportunities. There are very large lots, very mature surroundings, easy access to wherever you're going, and it's inner city. And so it's one of those areas that already has seen some changes in gentrification, but it's gonna see a lot more in the coming years. So two areas that didn't make the list because of any of their stats, but I want to really highlight are Rosemont and Banff Trail. Both of these areas aren't fitting into all the categories of growth neighborhoods, but they need to be mentioned. They do have higher prices for homes than the benchmark for the city. However, they have such a great future ahead of them for redevelopment potential. If you drive through these neighborhoods now, you are seeing a lot of new properties being built, a lot of fourplexes, infills, a lot of things are happening in these areas. So if you're inner city and you're looking for opportunities, these are two that you may want to check out. Now, you may have noticed that there aren't many high-end neighborhoods on this list. The reason being is that many of these areas have seen incredible growth already. And if you're looking for that type of area, then watch this video right here, and we'll see you over there.